Welcome to Dodgers Prospects. I'm Casey Porter, so glad that you decided to tune in. Joined by Tim Roges at Dodgers 2080 as we do this each and every week. Tim, how are you doing this afternoon?
A little hectic, but good.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, maybe not as hectic as last week when you had to move your son into his new house in the Austin area, or just as hectic maybe?
Yeah, Northern Austin.
Yeah. Okay, man.
This is just... Yeah.
Let's go ahead and dive into this show and let's get started. We have a great topic today. Today's topic are all the shortstops in the system. We're going to cover, well, let me look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 10 of them to cover today, so we have a lot to do. So let's get started at the top. And of course, we all know that Trea Turner, and he elected free agency, and he's going to be a Philadelphia Philly. We lost Corey Seager to the Texas Rangers the year before, so now the Dodgers are, they have a crossroads. Do you go out in free agency and get a Dansby Swanson or a Carlos Correa, or do you go wait and trade, or do you trade right now for a Willy Adames, or do you stay in-house? Okay, so let's start at the top. First of all, let's get your opinion on, do you think the Dodgers should stay in-house first of all, or do you think they need to go outside the house?
I go back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in Dansby Swanson, to be honest with you, except on a cheap contract.
Too many years?
The offense. I'd go 5/120, but even then,
would he take 5 years though?
No.
Yeah,
no.
Right. He's going to want 8 or 9 years.
The way this market is,
it's
right. It's insane, right? I mean, this
years are, is,
oh my gosh. I mean, well, since we last talked, we've had the winter meetings.
Yeah.
And we saw all sorts of stuff going on. Trea Turner, Xander Bogaerts both signed.
Trea Turner going to get paid till he's 40 years old.
Good Lord. Dansby Swanson's going to probably get, 8 years, 200 plus.
Which would put him in the 36-year-old range, which, in my opinion, there's a little bit of gray area there. I mean, 36 is older, but I think you're going to get really good production till at least 33, 34. So I think there is gray area to that. The Dodgers could justify getting him, and he seems like the Dodger type. He has that connection with Freddie Freeman, and they're very tight. Then the connection at Vanderbilt with Walker Buehler. He seems like a Dodger type. He seems like there's gray area in terms of length, but I'm with you on that one. So Carlos Correa. Good question.
I have changed my mind, of course, many times on this. I got to be honest. I'm all in on him.
Okay, he's going to want bag.
I know. You got to at least try it out. See what's out there. Was it Giants, Cubs, Twins?
He's the youngest one out there too. How long would you go with him?
Best one. It's kind of one of those I don't care.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'd prefer the short AAV, 4/180 or something like that.
He's not going to take
a lot to get this guy. Yeah, I don't think he is either. I mean, the market is crazy. So I don't think it's going to happen. And now what are the alternatives? And I guess that's what we're here to talk about.
He's 28, so he's going to want that same deal that like Justin Turner and Corey Seager and Trea Turner got. Trea Turner, Corey Seager. Yeah. He's going to want that 8, 9, 10-year, 11-year deal because this might be his last big free agency contract. So I don't think anywhere as close to 4 or 5 years would get him, but you never know. But okay, so that leaves you with maybe going out and getting a trade for Willy Adames. Of course, the attractive and unattractive part of that all at the same time is the fact that you would have team control over him for a couple more years, which means that that's the good part of it if you got him. But the bad part of that is that the Brewers are in no way, shape, or form in a hurry to trade him off because they know they're going to have him for a couple more years. So that would make him way, way, way more expensive.
Yeah. No, I mean, of course, the Brewers would be selling high, and that's usually not the best market to be in.
Or one that the Dodgers usually partake in, Yeah,
exactly. No, and there's different people have different speculation. We saw the Ken Rosenthal thing saying, "Oh, they don't want Correa because of the past," and we saw the stuff about Trevor Bauer's contract.
Yeah,
that's all speculation. No one knows those things. What we do know is, I think Boris had it right.
Yeah,
Scott Boris had it right. Is that Andrew Friedman is down there and he's lurking in the back,
no doubt,
and he's looking to strike.
If somebody did make the statement that, hey, we don't want Correa because of the Dodgers fans may not accept him, I think that statement was thrown out there to get it out there to see how the Dodgers fans would react, and not necessarily as a black and white, this is how it's going to be type. I think that's just to test the waters and to see how warm they might be if the front office wanted to go ahead and pursue Correa, just to kind of see how the Dodgers fan base would react. But hey, let's go ahead and get to, so we've talked about, the three most logical options if you went free agency and or trade. Out of house, let's talk about the in-house options. You have to start with Gavin Lux, and I have seen Gavin Lux play shortstop both at Tulsa and Oklahoma City a lot. I can tell you that's his natural position. That's the position he's comfortable at. I will get into a couple of mechanical issues that I think fixes a lot of the things that the Dodgers fans don't like about his defense. Okay, fielding percentage with Oklahoma City. Of course, this was 2019, the AAA level. I get all that, but that's really the only sample size you have that's worth actually looking at for Gavin Lux. So that's the only one that we have to go with. I saw this with my own eyes. He was something other than human in that 2019 season at AAA Oklahoma City. 977 fielding percentage, which would have been the sixth best in all the major leagues this year, Gavin Lux. Okay, so what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I saw him play with the Quakes a couple times, and of course, it's one of the plays that he airmailed the ball.
Yeah.
This is in 2018. So a little bit worried about certain things. His small sample size that he had in 2021 wasn't pretty. I think one of the issues that I see with Lux, even at second base, he tries to do too much.
Yeah.
We see that we're, going after balls between him and Mookie. Mookie won't even charge anymore because he knows Lux might truck him. Yeah. And so it just seems like it's a control issue, controlling himself a little bit more. Yeah. Maybe it's just, unfamiliarity, going to
I'm going to agree with all of what you're saying, by the way.
Yeah, and he didn't have a chance to really he learned on the job with second base. And I think he's been really good there. I really like him there.
Way better than Dodgers fans give him credit for.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you do see the yips come out every once in a while. I get it. I've dealt with that.
You will not see that at shortstop. I'm of that opinion.
I hope. Yeah, and the reason why, of course, is because when you're at second base versus second base, you have time, and it makes you think.
That's
sometimes.
One.
And then, and the footwork, of course, is another thing. It's just different footwork.
Yeah, you're heading towards first base at shortstop almost every time you throw the ball. Whether if you're coming straight down the ball, if you're going to your left, you're more. Whereas at second base, anything to your right, and you're headed directly away from first base, that's an adjustment period for guys that haven't played second base. And I know, college coaches, they recruit high school shortstops, and then they make their high school shortstops their college second baseman. Professional leagues, they like to draft a guy like Austin Gauthier, who played shortstop in college, make him a professional. I get all that, but I think Dodgers fans are underrating, the difficulty of moving from a shortstop to second base, especially when you're in a situation like Gavin Lux was put in, that you're on a team that's in a pressure cooker. You can't make mistakes because you're trying to win a World Series, for one, and then two, you're getting spotty playing time for the first time ever. So you feel like, man, if I make a mistake, I might not be in the lineup tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'm a huge, like I said, I'm a huge fan of him at second base, because of the changes that are coming. I think the days of the slower second baseman might be out, which concerns me about a couple of our other guys on the team. Yeah. But that athletic ability is going to be needed. Now, I haven't seen him play near as much at short as because, well, guess what? He hasn't been playing short. Yeah. But the small sample size I did see in 2021, I didn't like what I saw.
At short?
But tell me, I did.
Yeah, I'm opposite of you. I'm not a fan of him at second base. I don't think his mentality, I don't think his footwork, I don't think his arm slot. That's another big one. When you grow up playing shortstop, you have a certain arm slot and a certain way that you throw the baseball to first base. I don't think any of that fits at second base. I'm not a fan of keeping him there. I am a fan of him at least giving him the opportunity to show what he always was able to do as an elite. He was one of the best prospects in all the game of baseball at the shortstop position. And there was a reason for that. And that was because he was elite. I mean, he was a fantastic player. So, this is a team that's going to win 85, 90 games, make the playoffs this next year. So I think you have the chance to give him 120, 130 games at shortstop and at least give him the opportunity to show Dodgers fans and this organization why he was such an elite shortstop growing up in the system.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to do it, hopefully they've already told him what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So he can prepare. He needs to start preparing now. I saw him and Miguel Vargas were already at Dodger Stadium the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good, but let's make sure he has a chance to actually work on stuff.
Last thing that they need to, whatever you do with Gavin Lux, do it. Like you said, tell him, let him do it every day. The way that he got as good as a prospect as he was, I just think mentally it broke him on a couple of occasions, not knowing whether he's going to be in the lineup, where he was going to be. I just don't think that I think he's recovered from that, but I think it's taken him a while, and there's been a big adjustment period for that. I think he's deserved, the playing time every day of knowing exactly what he's going to do when he shows up to the ballpark that day, and the comfort level of being able to do that. So whatever you decide with Gavin Lux, just make it permanent, and just do it every day with him. Let him get comfortable in that role. So, hey, let's move on. I know one of your favorites, one of my favorites, Jacob Amaya, and he's just he's got a lot of flash, but the flash isn't non-fundamental type flash that when you say flash, you think that he's trying to be pretty and he's not fundamental. His flash comes from just being so darn good and just being so confident.
Right.
One of his high school coaches, I was talking to his head high school coach the other day at South Hills, and he said, the first time he walked into our facility, one of my assistant coaches, his first statement on Jacob was, that dude just walks like he's good, and he just absolutely does. I mean, Jacob Amaya has that swag. So he has flash, but it comes from being good and being confident. Does that make sense? Not arrogant. Okay, so 961 career fielding percentage at shortstop. This last year, he had a big, I know Dodgers fans worried about the offense. Okay, try this on for size. His slash line was 261, 361, 426. Okay, OPS, 795, 17 home runs. So would you take a guy that's, say, in the top 10, 15 in fielding percentage at shortstop that can hit anywhere from 250 to 275, that can hit, say, 10 to 12 home runs, have an on-base percentage that's, say, 325 to 350? Okay, would you take that guy at shortstop?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially and with this lineup, I mean, I know that the lineup will be better than it was, at the end of last year. He just bats ninth. That's all. And and let's do a quick highlight. I'm just trying to get there because my mouse is not good. In September, he slashed 366, 432, 577.
Finished strong.
People are, because all this stuff is his bat, his bat, his bat. Well, he had to adjust. And he will, like anyone, would have to adjust to Major League Baseball. So it's a big difference.
Well, and the bat thing, that's real. I mean, in the past, if you just look at his numbers, and I'm sure you got him in front of him, in the past, he's shown the ability to hit for average and get on base, but then he had no power behind it. And then in 2021, he increased his power. He hit 13 home runs, which was more than he ever had at that point. He hit 17 this year, so his power continues to increase. But then in 2021, after he added the power, his on-base and percentage went down. So he had, in the past, been able to hit for average and on base, and then also power, but not at the same time. Does that make sense? And then in 2022, he put it all together. So that was a big offensive year for him, and he's just. I had a video on him the other day. He's one of the best infielders that I've ever seen making plays on the move. He knows how to circle the ball, and the ball's to his right. He knows how to turn his shoulders and flip his hips on the ball to his left. He attacks the baseball, but yet he doesn't run himself into bad hops. He always gets a good hop. He does not take any fundamental routine play for granted. He's fundamental on all those plays. So I know that, if they threw Jacob Amaya out at shortstop, Gavin Lux, whoever it be, that would be my first choice. I know you said you're all in on Carlos Correa. I would rather save the money either for Shohei Ohtani for next year to reset the luxury tax if you had to, or save it for the Trevor Bauer situation if you have to go and pay that. I think you'll have, a little less than $10 million left if you have to pay Trevor Bauer this year to stay under the luxury tax. Maybe go get another pitcher if you need to, or an outfielder, maybe like an Andrew Benintendi or somebody like that. So, whichever one it may be, if you stay in-house, Gavin Lux and or Jacob Amaya. I think Dodgers fans are going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I mean, with the Korea thing, I know it's a pipe dream. But also at the same time, I also know that it's not my money. And like Dustin Osler says from Dodgers Digest, I don't worry about their money. They've got the money to spend.
I just worry about the back half of the contract. You already have Freddie Freeman that's getting paid till he's 38. You already have Mookie Betts getting paid till he's 40. 41, 40, 41, something like that. Yeah. So if you add a third guy that's getting paid till they're almost 40, that's a 30-year lineup that, and statistics will tell you past about the age 32, you're not going to be in the top of the league in anything. You have to be like a Freddie Freeman. Like Freddie Freeman was one of the few. I believe there's only 4 guys that was in the top 10 last year in any of the categories of average, OPS, and or home runs. So, man, the only way the Dodgers aren't going to be vying for a world championship every year is if a third of their lineup are, they say, 35, 36, 37-year-olds that you can't get out from underneath because nobody wants to take on that contract because they're making so much money, but yet you're not getting the production at the end of that contract. That's where I hesitate, and that's where the front office is hesitating.
And they are, but they've done a good job of getting rid of those contracts in the past. So I don't worry about that. But at the same time, I do want to see the prospects be given a shot. The Correa thing is very unlikely.
Yeah.
I'm just, to be honest, I'm glad he did not go to the Padres. I think that would have been. I mean, Bogarts to me was not. I'm not really bummed about. I mean, he's a good player.
Oh, he got a bunch
Don't get
of
me
years,
wrong.
didn't
he did. But they're not paying for those years. They're going, well, they're looking like it at 7 years 280 versus 11 years 280. So they're going to eat that money at the end.
Yep, no doubt.
And with inflation, things will rise and all that type of stuff. There'll be 2 more CBAs probably before that stuff ends. So, I don't worry about those things anymore. I'll look at, because I know the reality will be, and this is why I was against Kiermaier, and I'm glad they did not sign Kevin Kiermaier. Is they would sign him. Let's say they gave him. I don't know what he's going to get. Let's just say they gave him 1 year, $8 million. They're going to play him, and that's a not very good hitter taking time away from our guys.
From James Outman,
or
Miguel Vargas, or Michael Bush in left field, whoever it may be.
Exactly. But if it's somebody a really good player, even a Conforto. He's a good player.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he's coming off a shoulder surgery, but if they somehow got him, it's like, okay, I'm cool with that. Just don't give me these guys. We might as well have kept Cody Bellinger because at least he's a good outfielder and can't hit either.
Yeah, or if you're going to bring in like that type of just kind of the Jason Hayward deal, I like that. It's a minor league contract. You don't have anything to lose, and he's a toolsy type of guy. I think another guy in that category from the outfield to bring in would be Kevin Pillar. Bring him back. He was having a great year in Oklahoma City. He got injured. He got sent up to L.A. for a couple of games. But, and as recently as 2020, he has been very, very, very successful at the major league level. And he was great with AAA Oklahoma City last year. So, you have options like that I think you could bring in.
Absolutely, yeah. And a guy like Pillar, he would come in expecting to be the fourth outfielder.
Yeah. Right.
I just don't want I don't want the Dodgers going, hey, Kevin Kiermaier.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Going to your point. Yeah. He's not taking time away from necessarily James Outman or Miguel Vargas. He's helping mentor them.
Yeah. You got to fill the bench. That's for sure. And so let's fill that bench with the right guys and hopefully give our guys some, the prospects some runway.
Yeah. Okay. Talking about prospects, let's go through some of the other Dodgers prospects at shortstop in the system. Eddie's Leonard, who is protected on the 40-man roster. Austin Gauthier, who I just got a chance to talk to. I'm going to release a feature on him this week. Wonderful young man. I know you're huge on him. Sean McClain, the young man, the 2022 draft pick out of Arizona State. Wonderful young player. Alex Freeland, another 2022 draft pick out of UCF. Very high, big, long, lanky guy. Very impressive looking. Taylor Young, the young man out of...
Switch hitter.
Yes.
Alex Freeland, switch hitter.
Yep, and it's not Alex Friedman, by the way, who is the AAA, the announcer for the AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers. We had a tweet.
Did you call him Friedman?
Alex Friedman's his name, so not Alex Friedman, not the announcer for the AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers. Taylor Young, who is the all-time hits leader at Louisiana Tech. He's played a lot of shortstop, and that's his home. That's where he played in college. He probably profiles as a second baseman at the professional level, but he can be a shortstop for you. Rain Don Cone, very toolsy, 6'2" guy. You got to see him quite a bit with Rancho. He didn't hit a whole lot of home runs, but the ones that he hit, my gosh, it seems like he hit them all the way to the moon. Wilman Diaz, who is still in the complex league, really struggled this year, and to be honest with you, I'm probably going to pass on him as far as describing him. I've never seen him play. All I've seen is numbers, and I do not like to give evaluations just based off of me looking at numbers and not having seen him play. But he does have a arm tool of 60, a field tool of 60. His ETA is 2026. And so he is very toolsy, but if we're going to talk about Wilman Diaz, I honestly don't know a whole lot about him. I haven't seen him play. So dive into that list and tell me where you want to go first.
Well, what I want to first bring up is the draft real quick.
Yeah.
So you mentioned some guys that were drafted. So so the Dodgers obviously know that shortstop's a premium position. They drafted Freeland in the 3rd round.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted McLean in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Logan Wagner out of high school, they gave him $343 over slot in the 6th round. Chris Campos, the drafted the shortstop. He pitched last year.
Yeah.
But don't forget that he was a shortstop.
Out of St. Mary's.
Let's see. There was a couple others. Jose Izara.
Yeah.
So
these are guys that haven't made it to Rancho yet. They're either in the complex or maybe back in the DSL yet.
Yeah. Izara's another guy. Perez did not sign. And then Cameron Decker signed. And then another guy, Carter McCauley, did not sign. And then the international draft they had, or not international draft, but the international free agents, they signed a bunch of guys too.
Yeah.
So they have really been putting an emphasis on shortstop. And so the good thing is for me, I did get to see some of those guys at Rancho. It was great to see. And fortunately, I'll get to see Wilman Diaz, I think.
Yeah.
Unless they hold him back a little longer, because I'm with you on Wilman. One of the things to note, of course, is all these guys are very young. I mean,
well, of course, Freeland and McLean are college. Campos is a college player. If he plays shortstop, he pitched. Yeah. But Logan Wagner's only 18. Let's see, Wilman Diaz is only 19. Yeah, right.
Same with Doncon. So those guys are young, and then boy, some of these international guys, they're 17. And I looked at some of their numbers and stuff. It's like, oh, interesting. Yeah. But so to go back to the top with Eddie's, I saw him a lot at Rancho in 2021. He's just one of those guys that he just seems like a really solid guy. Now I know he can play everywhere. So I actually look at him as maybe our future Kike Hernandez type.
Yeah. Have you seen him play the outfield? I have not seen him play the outfield.
He's played it just a little bit. Yeah. It's not even worth mentioning. Or I might even be getting him mixed up with Vivas, because I know
Vivas moved around quite a bit. Left-handed stick. Yeah. They're both on the 40 man, and people do that a lot.
Right. So Leonard, I like a lot, and I think I was hoping he would get a chance to get up into Double-A, because he basically played the last part of 2021 at Great Lakes, and then the full season there. Same with Vivas.
Well, he's going to be in Double-A because Leonel Valera moved on, and that Leonel Valera was the Double-A shortstop for the entire last half of the last season. So you can bet Eddie's Leonard is going to be the starting shortstop in Tulsa from day one. You would have to imagine the way it sets up.
Yeah, and then I figure Austin Gauthier will stay at Great Lakes at least the beginning of the season to fill that position. I think he'll play that the whole time.
I agree with you. I don't think they'll move up Don Cone. I mean, he just got to Rancho in maybe August. Talking about Don Cone,
and he's only 19. I mean, they'll end up moving some other guys faster, but and he's just such a baby. I mean, he's a little baby.
Yeah, how about having a middle infield at Great Lakes next year of Austin Gauthier and Taylor Young? Two of my favorite players in the whole system, man. That would be awesome to watch, wouldn't it?
I didn't see Taylor play short at all.
Oh, he's awesome.
However, boy, I like him. Oh, he's like probably a couple inches shorter than I am.
Yeah. You want
not a
him
tall
on your
dude.
team.
Oh my gosh, he's got that other factor of, I will run over my mom to score
Yes.
on a fly ball, to the outfield. He has that. And he never said that. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But he was really impressive. Stole a lot of bases. Just ended up moving himself into the leadoff spot.
Yeah.
But he profiles as a second baseman to me.
Yeah.
But
Huge
however,
baseball IQ.
Yes. Oh gosh, yeah.
Him and Austin
I mean,
both.
it looks like, yeah, I mean, Austin was a free agent. He wasn't even drafted.
Yeah,
in
he didn't
2021.
get drafted out of Hofstra. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Taylor Young was a 4-year. He went full year because his bonus was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Get the $2,500 bonus if you go 4 years. Kids, if you're in third year's college and you get drafted in baseball, you better take that contract because the next one's $2,500.
Yeah, and you don't have any leverage.
There's zero. Yeah.
You have the leverage of coming back to college after your junior year. After your senior year, when you've expired all of your college eligibility, what leverage do you have? I mean, if the club doesn't want to sign you, what do you tell them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you have to wait a year to become a free agent. But let's talk for a minute. It's a terribly small sample size, but Alex Freeland, again, switch hitter, third round pick. He is 21, so he's an August baby, like most of my family.
Yeah, tall, rangy.
Yeah,
toolsy.
32 at bats. He came in. He hit 3 home runs in just 32 at bats.
Yeah, 313
with a 389 and then 625.
OPS over 1,000.
Yeah, I'm hoping he stays at least another couple months, and I think we're going to get him. They'll switch. What they'll do is, between McLean and Doncon and Freeland, they're all probably going to play second, short, and bench.
Well, see, the thing is though that Freeland and McLean, they're college guys. They're a little bit older, so they're going to be on a faster track than, say, a Don Cone.
Yep.
They're going to be more patient with a Don Cone and or a Wilman Diaz. So, I mean, you better get a good look at McLean and or Freeland. If they even go, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even go to Rancho, for the simple fact that, do you want to put Gauthier or Taylor Young at probably where they profile the best at second base, and then move one of Freeland and McLean to Great Lakes and let them play shortstop, and then kind of make a rotation as far as that goes? Or do you want to leave both McLean and Freeland at Rancho? I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of those guys started in Great Lakes between Freeland and McLean.
It would be Freeland because McLean was hurt at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Those things are not.
Boy, McLean is flashy, though. Gosh dang, he's flashy.
He is.
And when I say flashy, I don't mean like unfundamental. I mean like he can make all of the difficult plays and make them look easy.
Yeah. No, I got to see his only home run, which is really cool. But yeah, he ended up getting hurt. But he's, I got a good chance to talk to him quite a bit. Just a lot off the record, so I'm not going to share everything. But I can tell you this: he's a baseball junkie.
Oh yeah.
The guy loves the game. He's so into it. Him and his brother. His brothers also play.
Yeah.
One of brothers in Cincinnati, and then the other one's in college. And so they even have their little baseball camp that they've got going on in Orange County. So hit them up. It's on Instagram. But yeah, they're one thing he will be sharing a place with his brother during spring training because he's with the Reds.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he's strong.
Yeah.
He's strong. I mean, I saw him, he's ripped. I mean, he's in really good shape. And Freeland, he was, came late. But boy, that guy just dominated the ball right away on offense. I mean, just so impressive.
Yeah, kind of like Dalton Rushing, huh?
Not quite like that, but getting there. Oh my gosh! You know what? I think the 2021 draft was amazing. This 2022 draft might be even better. Now
it was deeper. It was definitely deeper. I don't know if you maybe. Yeah, I mean, you have to. Yeah, I mean, Dalton Rushing is pretty good at the top of that. It was definitely deeper.
He is. I mean, in rushing, remember he was a 40th pick.
Yeah.
And so they didn't get a first round pick this year. Last year was Bruns, but this year or 2022 they didn't even get one. So they did put a heavy emphasis on shortstops, and it's good to see. I think they just kind of got caught a little flat with where they were, but I'm gonna go really back.
Well, but I think it goes back to the you draft shortstops in anticipation, like you did with Gavin Lux, where you can always move them to second base. If you draft a second baseman, they're not going to become a professional shortstop. Does that make sense? So,
right.
I think it's more. I think it's more of that. They're going to figure out which one profiles where.
With Lux though, everyone just kind of go back to the end of 2019, and let's say that Seager had left after 2019. Your starting shortstop in 2020 would have been Gavin Lux.
No doubt.
It would have been given,
and it would have been a very confident Gavin Lux. And nobody would have argued with it.
Yep, it would have been given to him on a silver platter. And instead, he had to switch to second, go through all the stuff he went through. He'd already started his transition to second. But he would have been the starting shortstop, and we would have been all just so excited about it.
See, I'm of the opinion, too. Let's say that maybe Jacob Amaya and Gavin Lux are in the lineup at the same time. I think at this point, I would rather have Gavin Lux at short and Jacob Amaya at second. And I don't think that necessarily Lux is better than Amaya at short. That's not what I'm saying. I think Gavin Lux is more confident at short. Does that make sense? I think Jacob Amaya, I don't care where you put him, he's going to have confidence. Does that make sense? I mean,
and one of the things the Dodgers do is they try to figure out guys, and they try to play them in a lot of positions.
They need to stop doing that with Gavin Lux, in my opinion. But
right, because eventually you have to realize some players are good at that and some aren't. Chris Taylor, Kike Hernandez, the old Daryl Thomas back in the day. Those guys excelled
Max
at the
Muncy.
versatility in playing. Yeah, they don't mind what they can do. It doesn't impact their offense. Certain players, and I think Gavin Lux is obviously one of them, it does impact
I'm going to take you back again. We talked about this last week, but the one rookie that hasn't had to do that, let's take the two rookies that didn't have to do that with the Dodgers, okay? Corey Seager, 2015, he got to play the position that he grew up playing. Pretty good deal, right? And the other one, Will Smith.
Yeah.
Both guys that got to get comfortable in the spots that they came up in the system with. And I think we could all agree that the transition hasn't been as rough for them, right?
Yeah, however, Corey did play third base a little bit in the major leagues, but they stopped doing that.
Yes.
And because, again, some people can do it. And plus, that difference between third base and shortstop is it's a really different position.
I know all about it.
This was especially before they still were shifting, but it was not as much. And, third base was more of a third base position. They wouldn't shift all the time. Even they did some of that, but shifting has become obviously the big thing, and now it's going away. And so traditional third base, shortstop, you got to be really good to do that. I remember even Kike Hernandez would get thrown at third base every once in a while, and he struggled a bit because it's so different.
So do you see the Dodgers? We've seen players have great games and not even play the next day. We've seen different lineups, it seems like, every day, and all the metrics and sabermetrics to it. Do you see this 2022 maybe one of the byproducts of getting beat in the National League Divisional Series? Do you see that maybe having more of a settled lineup this next year?
Well, they won the World Championship
with the rookies.
Yeah, well, I would like to see that. I think it's criminal to say, hey, at the beginning of the year, we're going to platoon Miguel Vargas.
Like, let's say you put Vargas at third, second, and left field. Okay, is that fair? Does Vargas care where he plays?
I don't think it'll impact his offense.
I don't either. I think he's one of them that can do it. Yeah,
but I think his defense will suffer at all three.
Yeah, where do you profile him as say he has a 10-year major league career and he plays one position? What position would that be for you?
I have him at left field.
I could see that.
I hate that. But
so who's the future third baseman? Not in the organization right now. Maybe one of the shortstops we're talking about today.
We'll see. Maybe
an Eddie Leonard moves over there.
But I don't think he's got enough pop that you want at third. I think that's a really good question. Well, that might be our topic.
He had 15 home runs.
That's after.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
it's not. It's they're going to want more.
I think if and I put a tweet out about this. If you're going to make Miguel Vargas, if you think that he is going to be your everyday third baseman, he is your future third baseman. I think you need to re-sign Justin Turner immediately, and you need to let Justin Turner mentor and coach him for this next year and kind of teach him the ropes as to how to be an everyday third baseman. I think that would just do nothing but benefit Miguel Vargas and make him a better player for the long term. Plus, I think you're going to get quite a bit of production out of Justin Turner while you're doing it. So,
my concern, of course, is that Justin Turner would end up playing more at third than Vargas would, because it just seems like that's Doc's pattern, is to go with his guys that he knows, and so that's my biggest concern. If I knew that JT was going to come in and get 300 at bats at DH and maybe a little bit,
I think they would define all of that. I think that would all be defined.
They have to. They just have to, or because I of all the prospects that are coming up right now, I have Vargas as the one right now for 2023 to really shine.
No,
I think Outman, of course. Okay. No. I talk about just one. If I said just one, it's Vargas. I think he's a future star. I think Outman, hopefully he plays. I mean, I'm crossing my fingers that they don't find Kevin Kiermaier Part 2 to take time away.
We already have
him.
Trace Thompson.
Yeah, and so that's but they're probably going to go, hey, let's platoon him. Like then Outman's not going to see lefties. And then of course we've talked to Michael Busch. I'm a big believer in him. I just don't know if they're going to put him anywhere. If they put Vargy at third, they put Muncy at second. Yeah, is my fear. So
it's gone. Go ahead and finish.
I just want them to give these guys a chance if they're going to do it.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, as rookies, leave them one spot.
4 months.
Yeah. Let them get comfortable. I agree with you. Hey, we got 2 minutes left. It's gone way too fast, as it always does, Tim. Woo. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah. Jeez. So, final thoughts.
If they don't get Korea, and I don't think they will, so it's probably why maybe I'm a little positive about.
Why don't you think they will? And in about 15 seconds, why do you not think they will?
It's flat out. It's going to be the length that Scott Boras demands from the Dodgers. So I'm still an Amaya guy, but if they're going to do with Gavin Lux, please, for the love of Julio Rodriguez, play the guy. Let him play
through errors, through mistakes.
Yes, because it's 6 teams get into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is win 88 games. And you're in.
Yeah, and it doesn't. We've seen it doesn't matter if you're first place or whatever. I mean, all you got to do is get hot, right?
Exactly. And the way things are, if they really are going to do a reset, then do the reset. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's reset, and it does get them back to where they don't lose.
I still don't think they made their mind up on that or not. I think if they find the right guy. So I think if they find the right guy, they're going over. And then if you go over, you might as well go over. You might as well splurge at that point because you've already gone over, right? So you're either in or out.
Cohen tax, right? I mean, what the heck?
If you're going over by $1, you might as well go get the most expensive payroll in the history of time. But hey, we got less than a minute. This has been so much fun. Talking about all the shortstops, a few other things. So, hey, my final thoughts are, and again, I think the shortstop position will be just fine staying in-house. I think James Outman is a future star in the outfield. He's a plus defender. His offense really came around last year. I think Miguel Vargas and Michael Busch, they have above average major league hit tools, and so you got to find a way to put them in the lineup. And then I'm with you, Tim. I think you need to do it with the rookies in a situation in a way that you let them play every day. So, hey, we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining, and that's our latest edition of the Dodgers Prospects Podcast.